Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Erica Arrington. Today, I will be presenting a journal article to you written by Naida Cristina Pereira and Stella Maria de Sarmiento. Please forgive me. I know that I have pronounced those incorrectly. The title of the article is Lego Therapy as an Intervention in Autism Spectrum Disorders and Integrative Literature Review. To begin, the authors discuss autism spectrum disorders, or ASD, which is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects social and communication interactions. And it's also characterized by patterns of repetitive behavior and interest. The authors go on to explain other deficits such as sensory processing disorder, executive and cognitive challenges, speech and language challenges, um, fine motor and growth deficits, as um, as well as other challenges. It's very important for individuals with ASD to receive intervention in order to stimulate general development and specifically the development of functions that are typically impaired by the disorder. One of these interventions is Lego therapy. Lego therapy was created by a clinical psychologist by the name of Daniel Legoff. He created this out of the observation of two of his students that were playing with blocks and began to actually communicate with one another. Lego therapy is used all throughout the world in countries such as Canada, the United Kingdom, China, India, New Zealand, Australia. So it's a very popular intervention. It can be applied in individual and group therapy. Specific roles and duties are assigned to each participant. Lego therapy promotes shared attention, it promotes problem solving, verbal and nonverbal communication, planning, motor and fine growth skills, and eye contact, and especially social skills. It motivates participants to work together. There is a facilitator who is responsible to select the actual model to be built, as well as to oversee and supervise the activity. Once again, roles are assigned to each participant. The first is an engineer, which is responsible to read and describe the instructions. There is a supplier who is responsible to select all of the correct pieces, and then there is the builder who is responsible to put the pieces in the correct places. Um, Individual therapy is initially provided to the participants in which they are um, engaged in the activity for 60 minutes per week, and then they move on to the group therapy, which lasts for about 90 minutes per week, and this is from 12 to 24 weeks. There are 8 rules that each participant is expected to follow, and it is said to be a requirement that those rules are placed within the intervention rules, so students or participants can refer to those rules and monitor themselves um, and their playmates. Um, these rules include not putting the toys in their mouths, and include speaking kindly to one another. Um, Also, if they break it, they are responsible to help put it back together. Um, Asking for a specific piece or toy and not grabbing it. So certain things like that are included in the rules. Lego therapy has 5 sequential levels, which are all used to stimulate a specific skill in each individual. In order to move to the next level, students um, have to have mastery in the specific skills that they are currently working on. Analysis of various case studies conducted that utilize Lego therapy as an intervention for developing and increasing social and communication skills in children with ASD. The researchers in this study used a electronic-based online search to search for articles that included studies of Lego therapy. There was a inclusion criteria set that included the topic of Legos and included empirical studies with quantitative and qualitative measures, studies of children and adolescents, as well as chronological time of the publication. There were 15 publications initially selected. However, after analyzing the inclusion criteria, there were 7 selected for this particular literature review. And then there were 3 books used as well that was recommended by Daniel Legoff and another professional that was trained in Lego therapy. 4 out of 7 of the out of 7 of these studies proved that Lego therapy was an effective intervention for students with ASD, which increased the number of skills, social and communication skills within those children. The other 3 that stated it was not effective, the authors determined they weren't effective due to the improper implementation of the intervention. For instance, 2 of those interventions included robots as the mediator, which inhibited the use of eye contact and the and dialogue, which was, two major pillars of ASD. The author's perspectives and opinions based on the results from the studies reviewed, the authors believe that Lego therapy is an effective intervention for children with ASD. Once again, 4 out of the 7 interventions prove Lego therapy to be an effective treatment. Authors believe that the study was not as comprehensive as it could have been due to the lack of published studies on Lego therapy. Even though Lego therapy is widely used, the authors say that there was just not enough published studies for a more detailed and comprehensive review of the intervention. And Lego therapy should be combined with classic therapies for children with ASD. It is not uncommon for children with ASD to receive more than one intervention. As a matter of fact, it is more widely used to be able to increase positive outcomes, and this holds the same for Lego therapy, that it should be used in conjunction with other therapies. My personal reaction, I found this to be a very interesting article. It provided a great overview of Lego therapy, which I didn't know previously or wasn't aware of the details. Although I'd have heard of it, I just wasn't really clear on what it involved. And its effectiveness in increasing social and communication skills in children with ASD. I remember working as a RBT that we use Legos very commonly with our kids, as well as other things such as blocks, Marble Run, Mr. Potato Head, things of that nature, to be able to engage our students in social interactions between the therapist and the patient, as well as within group settings, and it did help to increase those specific skills. The various studies reviewed highlighted the multiple ways in which Lego therapy has been implemented. The article gave like brief insights into how Lego therapy has been used. It even included the actual pilot study to show how they initially studied the effects, and it was just real interesting to see. And I'm sure there are other resources out there available that provides more insight into how Lego therapy is implemented. Lego therapy is a very creative and fun tool that can be used to increase a variety of skills, and those with and without ASD. Once again, looking further into Lego therapy, I saw where this was used for students and others with other learning disabilities. Implications. Lego therapy can be fairly easy to be implemented within the classrooms to provide students with ASD and other learning disabilities with opportunities to increase their social and communication skills. Legos are accessible, readily accessible everywhere, and it can be a fun tool to motivate kids to be able to engage with other students and increase their social and communication skills. Further research in Lego therapy will provide educators and families with more data to prove its effectiveness and increase its application within educational studies. More research is just needed, and I'm sure with it being more used or better researched, then its application can be better placed within schools and other settings in order to help our kids with ASD. Educators should be explicitly trained in Lego therapy in order to ensure its validity and reliability. Once again, as seen in the article, 3 of the interventions did not work, specifically because they were not implemented correctly. Teachers, educators, clinicians, paraprofessionals, whomever, should be properly trained in Lego therapy in order to ensure that it will provide better results for our children to increase their social and communication skills. And that is it for my journal article presentation. I hope you found it interesting, and I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you. Bye-bye.